For most people, seeing the Middle East ablaze is deeply unnerving. But the United States and Israel claim their strike on Iran was necessary. They say they had no option but to prevent the Islamic Republic acquiring nuclear weapons. In other words, it was attack or be attacked. For almost 50 years now, Tehran's hardline regime has been a major irritant for the West. Back in 1987, 60 Minutes reporter Jennifer Byrne travelled to the isolated country. What she found was a very repressed population, suffocated by religious zeal and brainwashed in their efforts to fight the great Satan of America.
Going to Iran is like going back to the Dark Ages. As a stranger here, you're an infidel in a land of believers. As a woman, you're especially marked. You must conceal your sex any way you can. And if you don't, they will. They'll even doctor your press photo to blot out that blatant symbol of your sexuality, your hair. The processing of women begins before you even get to Iran. In London, I was told the rules. No hair, no makeup, no open-toed shoes, no flesh-coloured stockings. But it's only once you're here that the noose really tightens. You can't shake hands with men, sometimes you can't even eat with men. And preferably, you always look down. You walk the street like this. Very few people disobey because the Revolutionary Guards or Komita are always watching. Once I went down to the hotel foyer in my normal clothes without this tunic, and I was told to go back to my room and get dressed properly. That's for a Westerner. Iranian women are forced to be even more modest, burying themselves beneath black cloaks, their shadows.
Iranian women can't be beautiful in public. When are they allowed to be beautiful?
When you're at home.
Agozia Sarofi knows the ways of the West, but respects only the values of Iran.
So what happens when an Iranian woman comes home?
They can wear as they like, whatever they like. Even they, very short clothes or very, whatever they like.
Exciting clothes?
Exciting, yes. At home, we can wear whatever we like with our husband and with our children, or if they are only ladies at home, women around.
And makeup?
Not men. Yes, makeup, sure.
And you can do your hair?
Yes, sure, yes.
You are only allowed to have access to your own women, whether it's for sex or talking or socializing.
If you're wondering what Iranian men think about all this, you have to go outside the country to someone like writer Bakay Moyan.
It's the attitude which I believe it's wrong. They think by not looking at women, you would not allow your desire to go further than your family.
I don't want to look beautiful to other men, so it doesn't matter. But I feel beautiful myself, so this is the important things for me.
Basically, a man in Tehran, let's say, is always in conflict, whether he spends most of his time outside home, he sees other women, although they're wearing scarf and chador, nevertheless the eyes can be seen and the Persian eye is beautiful. So the desire is there and it creates a lot of conflict within the family.
Shouldn't Iranian men be strong enough not to be tempted by women without having to cover up everything?
Yes, they should, but I think this is the nature of man.
While it's your place as a woman you notice first in Iran, the war runs a close second. The hatred is almost suffocating. The enemy, of course, is Iraq. And each sex fights its own battle. The men offer their lives. The women, their savings. And their children's savings. And ultimately, their children too.
When I heard that my son had been killed at the front, I sat down on the ground and thanked God. His will had been fulfilled.
But don't expect any tears. Ashraf, for instance, was proud, almost happy when her son died for Islam.
To an Australian, you know, that's unthinkable. It's even wicked that a mother would celebrate the death of her son.
It's not easy being a mother anywhere, but it's harder in Iran. Our faith demands sacrifice, no matter how bloody it is. That's our life.
Shabano told us, regretfully, she didn't have a son to send, so she sent her fiancé.
You never urged him not to go, to stay and marry you.
My fiancé asked me if I'd be unhappy if he went to the war. I knew he loved Iran very much, and so I encouraged him to go, even though I was 90% certain he would die there. When he was killed, I felt no sorrow or unhappiness. I know I would have felt much worse if he hadn't gone to fight.
The Iranian people are obsessed with martyrdom. It's in their religion, it's part of their history. And a perfect example of it is Iran's war with Iraq. It's been going on 6.5 years now. There have been between 500,000 and 1 million casualties. To an outsider, it's like an exercise in mass suicide. To the Iranians, though, these men are martyrs. And by dying for their faith, they've won themselves a first-class ticket to paradise.
I feel that my son has gone to paradise, so in that way I am happy for him.
You have 2 other sons.
Yes.
If the war is still going on, will you send your second son to war too?
Yes, sure. If it's going on, I will send them.
What about your third son?
Even the third son. Even my husband and even myself, if it is necessary, will go.
It's true that in any war, young men die for their country. In Iran, though, it goes way beyond normal patriotism. There's something unnatural about it, like a cult of sacrifice. Then, just walking down the street, you meet a young boy who makes you see how very natural it is, if you're an Iranian. What does he think about the Ayatollah Khomeini?
He's the leader of us.
Masood is his name, 5 years old, and already a warrior for Khomeini. His uncle was a soldier, killed in battle, and Masood has been taught his sacred duty.
He wants to continue his way, his uncle's way.
He is now 5 years old.
Yes.
When will he go to the front?
10 years of old, 16, 15.
There is genuine desire within the religious families to get martyred because they think if you're martyred, you go to heaven. And it's one of the basic principles of their religion. On the other hand, the government is using this genuine feeling for its political and religious ends in order to keep the fervor going.
So people are actually being exploited in a way?
I think some are going on their own free will and some are being exploited. There's the ordinary people who volunteer and they are being used for cannon fodder.
You don't have to look very far to find out who's doing the exploiting. The Ayatollah and his mullahs are masters of the game. The mass demonstration is one of their favourite forms of propaganda.
فکر انسان هم وظیفه‌ای دارد که در روایات هم.
Another is Friday prayers, where the mullah works the crowd, serving up the weekly dose of prayers and politics. Occasionally, you try to escape the propaganda machine, to ask some ordinary Iranians what they really think. They're friendly enough.
You repeat again correctly your nose.
Okay.
I don't.
My nose.
No, there is a noise. Tank.
What do you know about Australia?
Australia, I don't know. Or Israel.
Australia.
Australia is good.
Good
people.
But mention one word, Khomeini, and the conversation stops dead. The hypnotic chant begins.
Ayatollah
Khomeini,
a great leader.
Sallallahu Muhammad, Muhammad.
Blessed be the followers of Khomeini. Maybe they mean it, but if they don't, it's too risky for them to say so.
Within the Islamic Republic, you cannot criticize Ayatollah Khomeini, you cannot say anything against Islam, and officially the war is not talked about, i.e. you have to be in support of the war.
What happens if you touch on these forbidden subjects, if you're a normal person?
If you are actively against the Islamic regime, of course, you're arrested, you're imprisoned. You might be executed. There's no doubt about that.
Outside Tehran, in the villages and towns, you'd like to think things will be different. But they're not. More cemeteries, mothers in mourning, and fresh graves. This time for women and children killed in air raids. Women in Iran can be bombed by the Iraqis. They can breed martyrs. They can and are expected to bear anything for Islam and the Ayatollah. But they can't go and fight at the front. They can't even go there, and that applies to women reporters too. It's a blanket rule. And so, while the Iranian Army Supreme Command does take selected foreign correspondents on a very selective tour of the front, because I'm part of our team, we couldn't go. It's easy enough to see what's happening there. It's on the news every night. As bloody, as ugly, as tragic as any war, anywhere. But the real story of the war, its real impact, is here in hospitals far from the front line. There are the children, some crippled, some orphaned in bombing raids. And is this plane Iraq or Iran? Iraq. There are the men who marched to the front and didn't quite make it to paradise. The 16-year-old volunteer bombed in the trenches at 𝚑𝚊. The 19-year-old caught in a mortar attack at 𝚑𝚊𝚕𝚟𝚊. Anywhere else, you'd cry for the pain and the waste. But here, you're warned that tears can only insult the injured. Will you go back to the front if you can?
Of course.
And they do keep going back for more. This man has been to the front 3 times. 3 times injured by bombs, bullets, and now mustard gas.
The doctors told me not to go back to the front. But I couldn't stay here in hospital while my comrades were dying there. We had to defend our country.
Have you been told again by the doctors not to go back to the front?
If I had only one arm, one leg, and one eye, I'd go back.
Seeing Iran and its people now, you can't help wondering how long it will all last. That fierce, blind faith. The suspicion, even hatred of the world outside. The devotion to their aging leader.
Many people may consider him to be living in a cloud cuckoo land. He occasionally appears in public and talks for about 20 minutes and goes back into hiding.
So he'll be around for a while yet?
Well, I assume that he will be around, and even if he's not around, I think the institutions and the power base that he has created is going to see through his death the Islamic Republic.
The Ayatollah has promised his people, the greater their suffering on earth,
the sweeter their reward in paradise. By and large, they've believed him. Given what they're suffering now and have yet to suffer, you can only hope it's worth it.